Blip. Blip. Blur, 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 blur. Hey everybody. Hi guys. Greetings. Can I zoom in on that? Zoom in. Yeah. Awesome. Hey everyone, gonna get started in a minute. Perfect. Move that out of the way. Hey everyone. We don't have many questions today, guys. If you have a question, go submit it right now. PropTartBot just posted a link. punishedprops.com/live, like it's always been. Head on over there and submit your prop and costume making questions for today's episode. We have 4 questions. We need more than that. Brittany is standing by to collect your questions. Brittany, if you're watching, check the junk folder, because sometimes they all get sent there. She probably already knows that. Yeah. I guess I'm all ready to go. I do kind of wish I had a delicious beverage. But we are all out. Time to go shopping. Yes, Phoenix Revival. A little tired. I've just been traveling a lot. I just figured it out. In April, I was gone for half of the month. For 15 days. Hey, Ted. Thank you for hosting us. Lot of regular names. I see Monk. I see Modulus Props. Dagger Elk. Phoenix Revival. Rev Chumley. Evil Ted Smith is here. Welcome, everybody. Welcome, welcome. All right, I think I'm going to get started here by doing this thing. Hello, welcome everyone to Prop Live, your weekly prop and costume making Q&A session. I'm Bill Doran, the guy what works at Punished Props. Here to take your prop and costume making questions and answer them to the best of my ability. And this week I'm flying solo. I don't have a guest or anything. It's just me. You're stuck with just me, you guys, but that's fine. It's me and all my best friends and all of my favorite prop tarts hanging out in the toaster. That's what we're calling the chat now, hanging out in the toaster. Yeah, Evil Ted Smith's pointing out I was on my book tour. I was busy. I was on the Punished Props Foamsmith 2 book tour all the way through April, since we launched the Foamsmith 2 book on April 1st. I went to California. Where I saw Ted. Well, I went to San Francisco for a few days. Did some stuff with our pals over at Tested. We got a video I did with them on the Raise Blaster, and more videos to come. We shot a whole bunch of videos while I was there. And then I made my way down to Los Angeles, where I ran into Ted no fewer than 3 times, I think. We kept bumping into one another. I was there for a few more days. I was gone for 10 days total, I think. That was quite a trip down through California. I saw everything and everyone, shot a lot of video, actually. I put up a video a week or 2 ago with Will Morgan and Steve Winsit, who share a shop now, my old shopmate Will. But we banked 5 videos while I was there with Ted, with Will and Steve, and Frank Ippolito and Steve Meisner. I shot videos with all of those guys, and we'll be feeding you those like every other week, I think, on the old YouTube channel. So that was a fun, productive trip. And then I went to the East Coast, which I just got back from yesterday. I was invited to a small convention called SwarmCon at the Savannah College of Art and Design, where I went and hung out. What did I do there? I did some panels on foam fabrication, judged a costume contest, sold some books, met a lot of really cool people, had a lot of fun. Got to check out Savannah, which is a very pretty city, very historic, lots of really cool old buildings. That was neat. Got to eat all of the local fare there, enjoying myself a bunch. Then I zipped up to Atlanta because I'm a crazy person and I can't be stopped. Went up there to see all of my friends, prop and costume making buddies up there in Atlanta. So I stopped by Harrison and Kathy's shop, Volpin Props and God Save the Queen Fashion. Shot a bunch of video. In fact, let's see if I can pop this up real quick. We'll post a link to this in the notes so everyone can go watch it. But I shot a documentary style video in Harrison's shop, which was fun, in the style of Wild America, but I call it Bill Duran's Wild Atlanta. And I filmed in Harrison's shop. There's Louie. Filmed it as though it were a documentary, nature documentary, which was really fun. And I bugged Harrison, and then he would totally pretend to be annoyed by what I was doing. It was really fun. So yes, go check out that video. It's it's just prop makers being goofy, which is my favorite thing. I also filmed a bunch of stuff with Kathy on some leather working stuff. So that'll be out. I'm not sure when that'll be out, but I have that video in the can as well. Busy, staying productive. I went and visited Lee from Fev Studios, my friend Bill from Angry Dog Studios, Tracy from Miss Sinister Cosplay. I saw everyone, almost everyone. I did my best. That was quite a trip. I recommend you guys, if you're the traveling type, or if you have a reason to travel to a convention, my intro audio plays again when you switch back. I don't know why I did that. That's weird, but I'm going to close the video and close that. Hopefully that doesn't happen again. Nope. Google. There we go. Anyway, that's what I've been up to lately. Oh, I also went a couple of things while I was there. Harrison and his buddies do a podcast called Jump Kick Punch. Here, I'll just throw this. You guys I'll throw that link in the chat as well. And I sat in on that, told some stories, had a good time. Worth checking out. Lots of fun storytelling and video game news and other tomfoolery. So that's worth checking out as well. Again, that'll be in the show notes. Jump Kick Punch. I've been a fan of that podcast for a long time. I've been able to hop on it every once in a while when they do one at Dragon Con, which is really fun. And yeah, so that's that. I think you guys are all caught up. I don't have a ton. Remove the intro from OBS as well. Oh, what have I done? Let me just... Nope. I don't know what's going on. I'll just remove that. Yep. There we go. It's gone. Thanks, Brittany. That's about it. We're just going to kind of play it fast and loose today. Like I said before we got started, we don't have many questions from you guys yet. So if you have them, submit them at... punishedprops.com/live, and I'll be keeping an eye on the chat too. If you have something you want to yell at me, just tag @punishedprops over there and I'll try and keep an eye out. Cool. All right, let's just grab some questions. Let's get started here. So many intros. There it goes again. Yeah, I don't know why the intro might be playing again. I deleted all the things, but let's see here. Do I have a video playing? No, I don't have a video playing. That's weird. I'll close that. I'll just close all the windows on my computer. And hopefully that fixes it. All right, first question comes from our pal Lon Caning. What specific mold release do you use when making a 2-part mold? He made another beautiful block of silicone this week. Oh, no. Oh, I feel so bad for you, Lon. That sucks. Let's see here. I'm just going to Smooth-On's website. And I'm going to look up... Oh, Smooth-On changed their website. You know you go to their website a lot when you can recognize that they've updated their website. All right, let's see here. All right, Ease Release 200 is what you want. And again, we'll have a link. I'm putting a link in the chat, but we'll have a link in the show notes as well. Ease Release 200 is what you want. It's used for aluminum, chrome, RTV silicone, which is what you'll be using for your molds, epoxy rubber, and steel molds. Steel molds. Wicked Bowie, thank you for hosting us. Thank you. Yeah, anyway, Ease Release 200 is what you want. If you get, believe it or not, if you get a mold release that is silicone based, it won't work. It will bond with the mold that you made. So that you may have done that. I don't know. I don't know which one you got, but I will. There we go. Whoops. Where did I just pasted the link. I don't know where I put it. There it is. So good luck on that, Lon. You're not. If you haven't cut. I don't know why the intro music is still playing. I'm closing that. I have no windows open. Intro slider. Oh. There. I think I found it. I think I found it. Just chaos. Oh, and it goes back to the Q&A scene. Yeah, I found it. I think I fixed it. All right. So anyway, Lon, if you haven't cut open your mold yet, then you can you make a knife with a bend in it, like an X-Acto knife, heat it up, bend it, and cut open your mold with that to provide a little extra registration when you do. And Ted Smith says, if you're in a pinch, Vaseline will work. That's good to know. Cool. So there you go, Lon. A couple tips for you. Good luck on your next one. And don't worry about it. Once you've made like 3 dozen molds, you'll have this down pat. That's what I always tell people. I've made like a few hundred molds, and I think I finally got the hang of it. All right. Next one comes from Joseph. I run a business making Saiyan armor from Dragon Ball Z, but I would like to step up my game. Instead of using EVA foam armor that you enter through this side with buckles and neodymium magnets, I would like it to be all one piece and made out of silicone so that it stretches and it would be put on like a shirt, like in the anime. It needs to be about half an inch thick or thick enough so that it does not flop around. How would you go about making this complex mold of materials to use? All right, cool. Oh, Brittany put a link in here to this video. I'm going to bring it up. This is a good one. This is in a 30-second ad. Great. I'll give you the brief description. You would make your mold when you're casting something that you want to end up being rigid. You make your mold out of something flexible. So that's mostly what I do. You would make a silicone mold and cast plastic resin into it. If you want to make your final piece flexible out of silicone, you would make your mold rigid. And in this case, the best way to do it would be something like an epoxy mold. In the video that Brittany provided me here, once I do that, this is Silicone Masks. These are the guys over at Tested made this video, but this is Immortal Masks, and they make masks out of silicone, which are amazing, really, really cool. And if we go through here, there's they're showing off a mask. Let's see. These are the molds. This is the sort of molds that Frank Ippolito makes. He makes lots of kind of molds, but he makes these, and they're made out of epoxy, which is really, really freaking fantastic. And inside of the mold is a little form, head form. And that fills up most of the space in the mold. And they even add a mesh to it, this stitched mesh, which gives the mask a lot of support. And then let's see if we can go forward to where they kind of, I don't know how well they show off the silicone. Basically, they have a big tube of silicone that they sort of feed through the top of it, and it fills up the space in between that head form and the outer wall of the mold. And that will fill with silicone. And then once that cures, you've got yourself a mask. You can peel it off of that, peel the mold off, peel the mask off of the head form, and you've got a mask. You can do the same thing with the torso casting. You would need a stock torso body. You would need to make a mold that goes around it out of an epoxy mold like that one. And then you pour your silicone in. It fills up the space between them. You've got yourself a rubber Saiyan armor thing. Just be forewarned, that's going to be a much, much longer and expensive process than just making them out of EVA. But if you make one mold, then you can make a crap load of copies. So it's worth looking into. Again, we'll have a link to that video in the show notes. It's really good. Really describes their process well. And that seems like probably one of the best ways you could do it for your particular needs. So there you go, Joseph. A little look into some casting using silicone as opposed to using the silicones to make a mask or to make a mold. Cool. Let's keep going. We got a few more questions showing up over here. Very good. Next one comes from Corium9. When you've been in maker workshops, either leading or just attending, what unexpected or interesting issues or problems came up, or even just an interesting or different way to go about something, just a radical outcome at the end? So when Corium9 talks about maker workshops, he means in-person workshops where you go somewhere to either teach a group of people in person or learn from someone else, again, in person. I've only done a couple of these, but a good example, I was at Construct in New York City last year, actually about 1 year ago. And I put on a foam weapon making workshop. So about a dozen people showed up. They brought materials and tools. And then I led them and taught them how to make a knife from Destiny out of foam. And it was amazing. Like, there's so much you can learn in just a couple hours that way. So much more you can learn. Because you get that real-time feedback from a professional. So if you ever have the chance to do it, it's always worth the money. Like, go do it and try it out. As far as unexpected things, that one went pretty well. I will say one thing, we were doling out a bunch of barge contact cement, because everyone had to have a little bit to work with, and we got some cups and we were pouring it out into different cups, and the barge melted the cups. And I had already doled out like most of it, and then we had to really quickly run around and like scoop it back up as the cups were just melting and falling apart. So yeah, there's always something that's going to happen in those live things. They never go as planned. But again, the most important thing is if you have the chance to do one of those, jump at it, because you will learn so much. I know if you're in the UK, go look up Artyfakes. They do in-person classes at their studio that are amazing. Excuse me. We want to start doing that here too. Once we're not working out of our basement, once we have a better place where we can invite people, we'll do some more in-person stuff. Yeah, Corsac Props says paper cups for the win. Corium9 also says in the chat, can you expand to any time you've been in a mentor position? It's funny, is like I'm not really much of a maker mentor. I mean, most of the instruction I do is through my books and my YouTube channel, so I don't really have a one-on-one mentorship thing with any particular person for their maker skills. I am kind of corralling a lot of my maker friends who are professionals into trying to figure out the business side of things. And I wouldn't necessarily call myself a mentor to any one other person, but I am, in my group of friends, I am kind of spearheading the effort. to try and learn more about running a business and learn more about being an entrepreneur and trying to make this thing work on a dollars and cents level. So I am kind of the ringleader there, but I wouldn't call myself a mentor to any one particular person. Not yet, anyway. We'll see, though. All right. Thank you, Corium9. That was a good question. All right. Let's keep going. Django says, have you used FlexBond yet? And if you have, do you have any tips? Also, have you used Bounce before? Neither one of these things are things that I have used yet. Here we go. Here's Bounce. Incredible bouncing boulders. Add small amounts of all-purpose foam coat to bounce to create a flexible protective coating. That's pretty cool. Oh, I would definitely like to check that out. Hot Wire Foam Factory. That's pretty neat. I think I will have to check this out at some point. I will tell you guys with like, I do want to be able to try all this stuff out for you guys, but part of this whole thing is I've got my process figured out. I generally like to seal foam with latex, and that just works. I don't have a lot of time to try all of these different foam coatings, and since I have a solution that works, I tend to just go with that. But if you guys have those, if you want to try all that stuff out and like report back, then that'd be awesome. This stuff does look pretty neat. I'm gonna add that to my notes here. If you guys, I'll add it to the show notes. Actually, I'm gonna put it in a link in the chat as well. If you guys want to go pick some of that stuff up, try it out, and report back, that'd be awesome. And then I don't have to do like all of the research. We can crowdsource that. Hot Wire Foam Factory. I am interested in seeing what this place is all about. Let's see here. If you can imagine it, you can make it with a Hot Wire Foam Factory. That does look really neat. All right, I'm gonna have to come back and investigate this website because that looks pretty awesome. All right, let's keep pushing forward. That came from Django. Next one is Dagger Elk, another one of our regulars. What spray paints will or won't flex when put on foam armor? I've only used acrylics in the past, so I'm new to the spray paint scene. I would not count on any spray paints being flexible. It's just the nature of the beast. In fact, if I know I need paint to be flexible, I always go with leather paints. Angelus leather paints. They're some of my favorites, and I know they're very flexible. Not all acrylic paints are as flexible. So model paints, like I like them a lot. The Tamiya model paints, they're awesome, but they don't flex very well. They'll flake off. So acrylic paints are really kind of where I go to, especially those leather ones, those Angelus leather ones, when I'm going to paint anything I need or want to be flexible. And again, I'm going to go back to the latex thing. You can tint latex with acrylic paint any color that you want, and then just spray or brush that on. And that will definitely be flexible, because then the pigment is suspended in the rubber, and the rubber is totally flexible. Thank you, Dagger Elk, for the question. Let's see. Admiral Ido in the chat is making a Halo ODST costume out of EVA foam. He's curious about the helmet and the visor. Well, you first go watch Evil Ted's helmet making video. So step one, just go watch that. We'll have a link in the chat or in the show notes. I'll go find it right now. And it's not a Halo helmet making question or a video, but it's a generic helmet making video, and you'll learn all the techniques you need to make any helmet are in that video. And then as far as a visor is concerned, I would buy a motorcycle helmet on Amazon and then build your helmet around that. You can get a visor that's too big, and you can trim it if you have to. You can glue foam to it, and yeah, and then you can make your helmet that way. There you go. And also, of course, go to the 405th. Let's see here. Here we go. Another link in the old chat there. 405th, that is where the Halo cosplayers hang out. So just go check that out. All of the information you need is in there. All those links I just sent you. C-Skip Pro in the chat is curious about the color tinting the latex I just mentioned earlier. The latex I have, and I'll look that up too. Polytech makes it. Let's just say Poly Latex 60. This is my favorite. This is what I was actually my friends at Artyfakes. This is what they told me to use because they are the latex whisperers. Poly Latex 60, and it looks white in the bottle and it dries clear. So you could whatever pigment you mix in there, it'll look like it's mixed with white until it dries. So, for example, if you mix in some black acrylic paint, then the mixture will look gray when you brush it on, and then it'll dry black, which is actually really handy because as it dries black, you can tell where it's or whether or not it's dry all the way. And then when you're brushing on a new layer, you can tell where you've brushed and where you haven't because it brushes on gray and then dries black again as you add more and more layers there. So yeah, there you go. Yep, and back to our questions. Nico Jesta? For the sake of owning a prop business, is it better to get a business degree or to take classes like marketing and computer classes? I never did any of those things, so I couldn't tell you. I will say I'll give you one recommendation. This will set you down the path. There's a book called the EMyth Revisited. EMyth Revisited by Michael E. Gerber. Oh, there. They just have a website. And I'll see if I can just find their main website here. It's like EMyth Worldwide or something like that. Or Michael A. Gerber Companies.com. Is that the right website? Let's see here. EMyth books. Oh my goodness, there's a whole crap ton of books. This isn't helpful at all. I'll just go to Amazon. I'll just get you guys an Amazon link. EMyth Revisited. Why most small businesses don't work and what you can do about it. Boop. There you go. Linked it in the chat. We'll link it in the show notes too. Go read that book and that'll set you down the path. If you're already in school and you can just grab some business or marketing or sales electives, grab those too. Might as well. It's not going to hurt to grab a couple of classes like that. So if you are already in school, go for that. If you're already past school like this old geezer, then forget about it. Just go read that book and it'll set you down the right path. EMyth Revisited. All right, that one came to us from Nico Jesta. Thank you for the question. Next one comes from ANG Piper. What's the best way to work out the volume of silicone and resin for mold making and casting? Well, depends a lot on what size and shape your pieces that you're making. So usually I try and figure it out using math. I literally go to Google and just type out volume of a cylinder. So if the piece I'm making is a cylinder shape, or if the mold jacket or the mold box is a cylinder, I'll use that to figure out the volume of the container and the volume of the piece, and then I will subtract. And I tend to work in milliliters because it's base 10 is way easier than ounces and pints and all that other malarkey. Yeah, I just kind of math it out using basic volume calculators on Google. And then, that'll know roughly how much silicone. I'm also good at guessing, too. I've done it a lot, so I'm pretty good at guessing. If you're doing a brush-on mold, you do kind of just have to guess. So if you have a helmet or a mask, you're going to do a brush-on mold. Mix up a little bit, brush it on. If you need more, mix up some more, brush it on, and just kind of go from there. It's hard to overdo it with a brush on mold. Yeah. But another thing too, if I'm mixing up silicone, and I'm not quite sure on the amount I need. I generally overshoot it a little bit, but I'll have another mold ready to pour, like a smaller mold ready to pour. So if I mix up too much silicone, I'll just make a second mold. I'll pour it on something else. Yeah. But yeah, math. The answer is math, unfortunately. I don't like that answer either. But Google helps you out. Just use all the volume calculators on Google. There you go. Thank you, ANG Piper, for your question. Oh, sounds like there's mail here. Sounds like heavy mail. I bet it's books. Okay, let's keep rolling. I think I saw... Did I see your thing in the chat? Oh, Angie Piper says, that latex smells like butts. It's always... it always dries slightly lighter, so make it darker. Yeah. Oh, Phoenix Revival wants to know, what adhesive would you use for gluing rare earth magnets into foam? I'm worried about the strength of the magnets, and we want to make sure the bond is strong. I've always used super glue. It seems to work just fine. I'll sand the magnets a little bit first so that they're not smooth, so the glue will have something to grip onto. But I'll drill a little hole, a little smaller than the magnet is, if it's a cylindrical magnet. Sand up the magnet a bit, put some super glue in there, push it in there, and that should hold it really, really well. You could put, you could glue some thin foam over that if you need to hold it in, or if you need to actually decrease how strong the magnet is, you could put a piece of foam over it so that the corresponding magnet on the other side won't get as close as you, it won't be touching the other magnet if it's too strong, but yeah, just super glue. Super glue should do it. I see there in the chat we got people talking more and more about magnets. Yeah, fairly magnets, not finger crushing strong. Yeah, I've gotten magnets before that were like they came with a warning. What I ended up doing, what was I doing? Oh, so I cast a Mass Effect gun, a Carnifex, like a pistol. And I cast it with magnets inside of it. 5 rare earth magnets. They were 3/4 of an inch in diameter and 3/4 of an inch thick. They were like dangerous. They literally had a sticker that said, "These will crush your fingers. Be careful." I put 5 of them in the gun, just in the casting, and then 5 of them in the armor. And it was still not enough to hold it because the shearing forces of the gun staying on the back were just too much for the connection to make. If you did something similar with a foam gun, I think you'd be in good shape. But the casting was just too heavy. That's really what it came down to. But magnets, how about those magnets? Yeah, Missile Monkey says no more than about a 1/4 inch cover. Yeah, if you put too much foam in between your magnets, then they will not work anymore. Okay, let's keep moving here. Jonathan wants to know, I just finished my first completely airbrushed prop. Any tips for cleaning and switching colors quickly? It really slowed the process down. So if I'm airbrushing, I'm usually using lacquers or acrylic paints. As I'm working, I have a gravity-fed airbrush, so it's just got a hole in the top, a hopper just to pour your paint in. Usually what I'll do to keep moving, keep everything going pretty quickly, is when I'm done with one color, I'll either dump it out in the trash or dump it back in the bottle if there's enough left. And then I'll just pour in a little rubbing alcohol, or if I'm using lacquers, I'll put some lacquer thinner in there, and I just spray that through the airbrush, and then I'll like plug the end of the airbrush with my finger and blow air back through the hopper to like unclog anything that's stuck in there. And yeah, so just run the solvent, whatever your solvent is, just run it through there, and then I'll have like I'll dump that out, spray it until it's just shooting air out, and then use a Q-tip, and I'll just go in there through the gravity fed one. You can just go kind of poke. If I see any any schmutz still in there, I'll pull the needle out, wipe it out a little bit, put the needle back in, and I'll keep going from there. Generally works out pretty well. And then when I'm done for the day, I take the whole thing apart and clean it with more of whatever that solution is. So rubbing alcohol or lacquer thinner. Usually those are the two things I go for. Smidge McDuff in the chat wants to know, what kind of bagel sandwich do you want tomorrow? Well, Rob, that's my twin brother Rob. And I'm going to go play at his school tomorrow. He's a high school teacher. And I assume you're talking about Blazing Bagels. So I'm looking at their menu right now. Let's see here. I don't know. There's a lot of options there. I'm going to have to, Rob, I'm going to have to get back to you. Here's the options here. The Zachary Zatzman was all breakfast sandwich. There we go. That's what I want. Breakfast sandwich. You choose the bagel, we make the sandwich. All right, we're gonna make a quick choice. I want a sesame seed bagel with egg and bacon. There you go. Order made, Rob. Sesame seed bagel, egg and bacon. Boom. Done. That reminds me I have to get up early tomorrow. Alright, Corsac Prop says, I tried that, but my gun is suction feed and seems to hold a lot of paint. So I have to tear it down to clean it. Yeah, again though, like just keeping a container of like whatever your solvent is. Your rubbing alcohol. So you can move your suction feed over to that and just draw the solvent through until it's just spraying the solvent. That should help. And then spray that and then take it out of the bottle and then just spray it until it's empty, till it's just shooting air, and then you should be pretty good. But a lot of times you just kind of have to clean the whole freaking thing, which is why it's a pain in the butt. And that's also why I own many airbrushes, because then you can have an airbrush for every color. That's just kind of the state of things as you get further and further down the airbrush rabbit hole. All right, there you go, Jonathan. Hopefully I answered your question without going too far on a bagel tangent. Let's see here. Nick at Modulus Props has a question for us. Do you have any recommendations for lint-free or low-lint paper towels? I've been using those Blue Shop towels while weathering, but they seem to leave behind lots of lint. I use the Blue Shop towels, and I don't seem to have that problem. So maybe I have a different brand of Blue Shop towels. Let's see here. Let's figure out which ones I have. Paper towels. I usually get them from Lowe's. These are all normal normal paper towels. What if I do shop towels? Nope, that's not it either. Let's see here. I do know some people prefer to go with like a terry cloth towel, not like a paper towel for doing their weathering. So you may do that. As I'm looking at Lowe's, it looks like they have a lot of different like just cheap shop rags that are let's see here. Yeah, like cheap shop rags that are like terry cloth towels. You can just use that. You can even wash them if you want, if you're just using acrylic paints. Let's see here. This is just those. These are the blue shop towels. This is usually what I go with, and they seem to work fine for me. So I don't know. Maybe you have a different brand. But yeah, just go with non-paper towels. Go with cloth towels. There you go. There you go, Nick. A couple things for you to try. I have never had a problem with lint, so I don't know what to tell you. Next one comes from Joe. How smooth do you get your harder to sand 3D printed pieces before you mold them? Will you keep going until you know it's smooth, or you just get it as smooth as you can and see how the casts turn out? I'm not going to pour silicone on something if I'm not confident in the surface finish. It's really what it comes down to. I'm not going to waste my time, and I'm not going to waste silicone if I'm not sure what the finish is. So that's why I tend to at least do one good pass of wet sanding on something before I mold it up to like 400 grit or higher, just as a standard. If you want something, if you have a specific finish you're going for, if you want it to be really shiny right out of the mold, then go higher and higher on your grits until it's mirror smooth if you want. But I'm not gonna like hope that the castings turn out. I need to be confident that the surface finish is gonna be exactly what I want. Yes, so that's what I do. Basically, I have my printer does PLA. This guy right there poops out a little PLA piece. I sand it to 220 grit, and then I hit it with a filler primer. Sand it to 400. Hit it with a normal primer. Wet sand it to about 600, and that generally works out really well. So, and you can play with those numbers and different types of fillers and stuff, whatever you've got. But that process works out really well for me, and I can be confident after I've done all that the castings are going to be exactly how I want them. There you go, Joe. All right, handful more questions here. One of our buddies here, Hey Patch, did he show up on time today? I know he tweeted at me to see if we were having the show and what time today. So did someone win bingo because he showed up on time? He wants to make the gnome stick. And I actually know what this is because I watched the movie Turbo Kid. I actually finally watched the movie Turbo Kid. And here's the crazy lady here. There we go. And her weapon is a gnome stick. It's a baseball bat with a garden gnome duct tape to it. So there you go. Hey Patch is making one. He has some soft sponge-like foam to carve the gnome from. Do you have any tips or tricks when it comes to sponge carving? What tools would you suggest? I haven't really... No, Hey Patch says he was only 2 minutes late. Very good. Sponge are just foam. So any tools you use on foam, you could use to carve that. Like a rotary tool would probably work. Although with a squishier foam, it may get caught in the rotary tool and like bind up. So just keep that in mind. But you could use a hot knife to carve it, like a hobby knife or a wood burner to do that. You could just use a sharp knife to cut away all of the like the bulk of the material to get it down to shape. But yeah, I bet a rotary tool, a hot knife, and normal knives would get you pretty far as getting that guy, sculpted. I'll tell you what I would do. Then again, I tend to take it to the next level. I would sculpt it or 3D print it. For this guy, I'd probably sculpt a little yard gnome. You wouldn't need to. You could do it out of wood if you wanted to. It looks like the original has a look like it was carved out of wood. But I would sculpt it, and then I would mold it, and then you could cast it in a flexible urethane foam, which I think would be awesome. And then it would be like a Nerf bat with that skin on the outside with the foam, rubbery foam on the inside. That's how I would do it. But obviously, there's a little bit more of an expensive solution than just buying some upholstery foam and sculpting it yourself. But yeah, there's hopefully one of those tools will work out well for you. Buy more foam than you think you need so you can experiment. Draconis in the chat is curious about the latex that I like to use. Let me grab that link one more time. I just want to grab that again. Did I? Crap. If someone in the chat still has the link to the Poly Latex 60, you can even look up Poly Latex 60 on Google and they'll find it. But that's the latex that I like to use and that Artyfakes told me to use. I thin it using distilled water, and you can get distilled water from a grocery store or from pharmacy or lots of places. You can get distilled water, and that'll thin it. So there you go. All right. Keep moving here. We have a couple more in the queue. Roku-san Cosplay says, does Barge eat through plastic squeeze bottles? I've seen you using it in the Destiny prop gun videos, and I don't want to make a big mess. No, it doesn't actually, and I'm not sure what type of plastic it is specifically. I do know that like polystyrene, like those red solo cups that you get, it will melt right through that. So don't put it in polystyrene. But most of the squeezy bottles are designed to hold a variety of stuff in them, and they seem to be pretty resilient. The Gluebot, let me see if I can find this here real quick. That's the thing I just got recently. Gluebot, this guy right here. There we go. This thing is great, and the seals on it may eventually wear away from the barge, but the container itself, the barge will not eat it up. So Gluebot's a really cool, useful tool for holding your barge. There you go, Roku-san Cosplay. There's an answer to your question. I'll tell you why. One of the reasons why I like using those bottles is for doing, the food safe squeeze bottles. They should work just fine. Containing a large amount of barge for spreading out on large areas. That way you're not constantly dipping your brush into the barge and spreading it out and then dipping and spreading. You just squeezy bottle a bunch of it all out on that surface and then use your brush to spread it all out. It's a much quicker way to do it. You don't have to leave your barge container open. It's all in a bottle, and then you can just cap the squeezy bottle, and it'll help the barge stay good for longer. All right, another one here. This is from Django. What are good materials for vacuumform bucks? Is there a particular clay that works best for vacuum forming? Any other sculpting mediums that can be vacuum formed? You can, anything that'll hold up to the heat and the pressure of vacuum forming. So a lot of people like to use Hydrocal or Ultracal, which is like plaster. Basically, it's a big hunk of stone because it can take the heat. It cools off really fast, and it's solid. It will not crush when all that vacuum pressure pulls down on it. So Hydrocal or Ultracal are good for that. Generally, what you'll do is you'll make a master, you'll make a silicone mold of it, and then use that silicone mold to cast your Hydrocal vacuum forming buck, and then make your copies from that. Or you could, pour a big hunk of Hydrocal and then sculpt it down to your vacuum form buck, if that's how you want to do it. There's a lot of different ways you can do it. You can also cast your pieces in plastic. And actually, I was at Harrison's shop, and he for his Omni Blade, he molded and cast his original pieces for the Omni Blade, and then the cast ones were cast with like Smoothcast 300 slush cast, and then backfilled with expanding foam just to take up the space. And those were durable enough to be vacuum formed on top of. So there you go. There's a lot of different options you have for making your vacuum forming bucks. You could use wood. You could sculpt a big hunk of wood, which I've done before. You can use high density tooling foam. Just remember that there's a lot of pressure, and it may round over the edges on your piece after a few pulls. So, just know that most of the time, Hydrocal is the best way to go. That's how I did Danquish's visor, his Snake Eyes visor. I molded it, or he 3D printed it. I made an alginate mold of that, and then cast it in Hydrocal, and that's what I used to vacuum form his visor out of a PETG plastic. There you go. There's all the answers. Good luck with whatever vacuum forming project you're working on there, Django. All right, this is the last question I have in the hopper here. Then I'm gonna turn to the chat, you guys. You guys are gonna have to throw some questions my way for the last 10 minutes here. We'll do an AMA. We'll do an Ask Me Anything for the last 10 minutes. So get your questions ready in the chat and start throwing them down. Travis says, I wonder if you know of any blueprint artists that are open to commission. I don't. Most of the time, me or any of my friends who do prop making will make a blueprint for a project that they're already commissioned for, and then they'll sell that blueprint. It just makes more financial sense to do it that way. They're already basically being paid to make that blueprint for the project, and then they can supplement the rest of their income by selling it over and over again. Building a blueprint up front for one client is very tricky to make cost effective, done in a cost effective way. So if you were going to hire me to draw a blueprint for you, and that blueprint took me 2 days to draw, it would be several $100s for that blueprint. I can absorb that cost if it's for a project that I'm going to finish for a client, but to do it for just one person becomes financially unfeasible. If it's tied into a project that's already paid for, then I can offer that blueprint for sale for $5 or $10 just to make some supplemental income on top of that. So yeah, I don't know of anyone else that's taking commissions for blueprints, but maybe they're out there. Maybe look on the RPF. I don't know. Or just give it a try yourself. That's how I did it. I just went and started. I got Inkscape, which is totally free, and I just started drawing and drawing and drawing until I kind of got the hang of it. And now I'm all right at it. Pretty good at it. Let's see. That was it. That's the last question we have in the hopper. Chemman says, what else is there to ask? We already know what your bagel sandwich of choice is. Yeah, I know. Brooks Creation says, when are you guys sending out the new Foamsmith books? We're waiting for those to show up at our house. We ordered them from a printer, and then they're going to come to, they're going to deliver a whole crap load of them to our house, and then we'll get right on top of mailing them out to you guys. But we don't have them yet. We have one copy, and it's mine. Let's see. Let's grab some more stuff from the chat. Shiny Robot's curious about me selling my Mr. Handy molds or cast pieces. Couple of things. No, I will never sell any of my molds because they're mine. Usually when I use molds until I die, and then I cut them up and feed them to other molds to take up space. That's usually how that goes. You will very, very rarely see someone selling the actual molds that they made. As far as cast resin pieces, I'm not selling the Mr. Handy pieces. I would rather other people try and go make it themselves. And also, I don't sell kits anymore. I'm trying hard to move forward without selling stuff that other people own the rights to. And that's a decision every person who makes stuff on the internet needs to make. And I've just decided to not do that anymore because it's not reliable. Because if ZeniMax decides to throw C&D my way, I can no longer rely on that income, so I'd rather just not at all. Tried this at home says, Bill looks younger. Did you get a haircut? I did get a haircut. I'm trendy with my super sweet new haircut. You like that? It's just getting way too hot. Hot outside, and my hair is thick like a lion's mane, and I had to get a haircut. Let's see here. Bio Cosplay says, have you played the Overwatch beta yet? I played it a little bit. We do make sure, Brittany and I both make sure that we log on to see all the new skins whenever they release those, which is really, really fun. But I've only actually played the game a very little bit. I played it at BlizzCon when they first announced it. And then we have it. I'm in the beta, so I've played it a couple times. Travis 11011 says, do you guys know if you're going to TwitchCon? I don't know. I'm guessing not. Probably not. We'll see if it's in the cards, but as of right now, it's not. But if it happens, we'll be sure to let you guys know. Admiral Ido says he's making the Halo 5 DMR. How should I scale the rifle for the right size? Because I'm making templates. I have an article on punishedprops.com that you need to read. I'll go grab the link right now. Lauren the Elf says, have you thought of doing a DragonCon meetup? Yes, actually. We'll do something, officially do something for DragonCon. Some sort of actual meetup. Here, I'm posting a link in the chat there. That's how I scale prop guns. Go check out that article. There's a free picture that I use that you can download and use for your own projects. That's how I do it. Generally, I have a picture. I'll just show you. Boop, there it goes. I have a picture of my hand holding a real-sized gun with a ruler in the picture so that I can use that ruler in Photoshop to scale the references when I put them over, or in this case, I use Inkscape, but so that I can scale it so it looks like it would fit my hand, and then I know roughly how big it needs to be. Roughly. Yeah, Lauren the Elf is on a DragonCon tangent. Believe me, I was just in Atlanta. I drove past the Marriott and I was just like, soon. So soon. Kagar Prop says, Britt has her plan for BlizzCon costumes. Have you thought about yours yet? Yes, I have, but I'm not going to say anything about it because the last 2 years at DragonCon or for BlizzCon, I had ideas and they never came to fruition. So I'm going to keep a tight-lipped on it for a while. Probably won't even get to start on it until after DragonCon. So I have ideas. I do. I'll give you a quick teaser. Maybe this. That's all you get. All right. Or maybe this. No, I'm not going to dress up as Nova. I actually just bought this because she has the rifle that I made. There you go. All my toys over there. All right, cool. Modulus says, I'm thinking about putting Rust-Oleum textured spray paint on a foam prop. Ever try this? Yeah, just remember what I said earlier about spray paint and flexibility. If it's a prop that's not going to flex very much, it should be fine. So there you go. Nerdy Views, are you going to be on a panel at San Diego Comic-Con? Not that I know of yet. Anything could happen in between now and then. So yeah, I don't think so yet, but you never know. Missile Monkey says, any advice for heat fitting foam to a 3D form like a mask? Go as Nova, do it. Yeah. Heat fitting foam to a 3D form like a mask. You can almost vacuum form. I mean, you could just vacuum form it. That would totally work. But you can also make two forms, like your face form and then a form that goes over it, and then heat a piece of foam and then sandwich it between those and sort of press it that way. Making those two forms would be the challenging part, but you could also heat it up and press it to the form. You'd be more successful using something like Warbler to do that. Yeah, so there you go. More people in the chat are supporting my Nova costume idea, Brova. Yeah, then I thought, let's see, wait, I have a bunch more. I also have a Lady Sylvanas in there, but I don't think I could pull that off. I have many action figures. This is one of my favorites. This is Han Solo as the Statue of David. It's very good. With the covering his naughty bits, he's got a little fig leaf there. Many more toys right over there. Any more questions in the chat? We've got about 3 or 4 minutes left here. So if you got a question for me, throw it my way and we'll finish this thing strong. I'm just gonna keep an eye on the old chat there. And if you guys don't have any more, let's see. Many action figures. Get on my level. Sam, maybe you should, on your next live stream, or you should make a video showing off all of your sweet action figures. Two Drink Minimum says, you ever think of doing a smaller book or manual to document resin casting and molding? I thought about it. I have 2 other friends who are better at it who keep saying they're going to make a molding and casting book. So I'm holding off so that I can read their books. I do have a lot of books planned. I'm going to do another new ebook this year, later in the summer. That's the plan. There won't be a print version. I got to get just a digital book out again. Just because the production on the pipeline is so much quicker than doing the print version. And then we may have another like handbook, like a smaller book out for the holidays. We want to do that. But as far as a molding and casting one, the videos we did kind of covered that for now. And if we do a book on that, it won't be for a while, just because I feel like we've done a good job of covering that content. And there's a lot more other topics that we really ought to cover in different forms. Sam over at Bio Cosplay says, maybe I will, referring to his action figure video. Let's see here. Any more questions? Got another minute or 2, and then we're going to roll on out of here. Lauren the Elf says, heavy breathing new book. Oh my God, the one I have planned, I'm really, really excited about. I want to write something that has that can help as many people many people in the cosplay community. It's gonna be awesome. Burks Creations, would you be willing to be in any small films that people make? Like if someone was to make a film about Lord Shax, would you do it? If it depends on the time commitment and travel commitment. If people can pay me to cover my time and travel, then I would totally do it. If it were local here in Seattle, that would help an awful lot too. And again, it would just depend on how much of my time it would chew up. So it depends. If you know people who need Lord Shax for a video and they can make it happen, send them my way. Hey Patch wants advice for someone who wanted to make their own book. This is what you do. Open a Google Doc, start writing words until it's done. That's for my first ebook. That's what I did. If you want to ease your way into it, you could start a blog, write a new blog post every single week, and then 6 months later, take all that content and reorganize it into a nice, tidy book. That's it's really closer to how I did mine. I was writing my blog for a couple of years, and then I took all the best information from all those blog posts, and that's how I wrote my first book. Last question. Two drink minimum. It's not a question. One more question. Next question that comes in, I will answer it, and then we'll end the video. And I'm checking out the chat. One more question. Here we go. Anjin says, have you thought of self-publishing like novel writers do? You don't have to worry about inventory, and you can do digital and print. That's what we do now. We just publish our own books. Brittany says, can we go outside and get a beer? Yes, we can. That's it, everybody. The live stream is over because Brittany wants to go get beer, and I'm on board. Hey, guys, thank you so much. So much for coming and hanging out today on this casual episode of Prop Live. Thank you for showing up. And, of course, thank you guys for helping us out over on Patreon, patreon.com/punishedprops. That's been really fantastic. You guys are awesome. We want to do more. I was thinking, actually, I'll just throw this at you guys in the chat. I was thinking about doing a weekly vlog. Just like a short couple minutes every week where I just sort of show you what we have going on in the shop here. And that would be exclusive to our patrons. Tell me in the chat. Tell me if you guys think that's a good idea. If you think that's something you would enjoy seeing. Yeah, but anyway, thank you again so much for supporting our videos over on Patreon. You guys are awesome. We will definitely be here next week. And we'll try and have a guest for next week. So until next week, everybody, go out there, measure twice, and try not to hurt yourself. Bye. Oh, wait, I'm not going to end the stream. Let's see. Good idea. Yeah, awesome. I see little hands going up. I see yes. So you guys like the idea of a weekly vlog. Well, I'll tell you what I'll do. This is what I'll do. I'll shoot a weekly vlog, all right? I'll do it, and I'll post it on Patreon. You guys have to comment on it. If you're a patron, you have to like it and comment it on Patreon. You got to tell me then, because I'll do it. I swear I will, but I got to get feedback. You guys let me know that it's something you enjoy. Rocket Man props came in just for the end. Yeah, it show's over. Sorry, man. Oh. Cool. I'm glad you guys seem to like the idea of a vlog. I figure for the people who are actually throwing money at us to support our videos, giving you like behind the scenes, like access to what's going on around here, that seems like a good perk, I would guess. Just stuff that no one else gets. But other people don't miss out on the tutorial content. Seemed like a good fit to me. Anyway, I'll try it out. Maybe I'll shoot one later today or tomorrow. Throw it up on the old Patreon. Cool. I'll do it. Yes, that's right. It's a threat, Phoenix Revival. Damn straight it's a threat. Yeah. All right, cool. I think I'm going to roll on out of here because Brittany is pestering me about getting beer. So I think we're going to go do that. But thanks again for hanging out, everybody. You guys are awesome. Go out there and continue to be awesome, you wonderful prop